Hello, welcome back to the channel. We really appreciate you tuning in. Today's news is something that's been making a few waves, especially in immigration and business circles. A Nigerian businessman who had been living and operating in South Africa has now been deported, and not because of visa issues or expired documents, but because of something far more serious. Authorities say he was using fraudulent identity documents to operate in the country. Please watch till the end to see the sources and try to verify the news for yourself. If you haven't subscribed yet, do that now so you never miss an update. According to information shared by immigration officials and confirmed by border security staff, the man, believed to be in his early 40s, had been living in Gauteng for a number of years. He owned a few small businesses, mostly in the logistics and import space, and had even been paying taxes using a South African ID. But as it turns out, that ID didn't belong to him. Home Affairs reportedly picked up irregularities during one of their verification sweeps earlier this year. The businessman's fingerprints apparently didn't match the identity number in the system. This triggered a deeper investigation, and that's when the whole thing started to unravel. What seemed like a successful immigrant making an honest living was, in fact, someone using false documentation to build a life in South Africa under an assumed identity. Authorities believe the original ID document belonged to a deceased South African man whose identity had been duplicated and reissued illegally. This is not the first time something like this has happened, and unfortunately, it highlights a bigger problem with document fraud and the ease with which some individuals manage to infiltrate the system. What made this particular case even more complicated is that the businessman had actually managed to secure a few tenders with his companies. That means government money, taxpayer money, was unknowingly being channeled to someone who shouldn't even have been legally present in the country in the first place. Once everything was confirmed, his businesses were shut down, assets were frozen, and deportation proceedings began almost immediately. He was quietly deported back to Nigeria last week, with officials making sure the process was handled with as little drama as possible. Some community members in the area where he was staying said they were shocked. One neighbor said he was always quiet, kept to himself, and didn't bother anyone. Another said they thought he was a normal South African businessman who just happened to have an accent. According to Home Affairs, this incident is a clear reminder of why identity verification must remain a top priority. The department says they are now going to intensify their audits and background checks, especially for foreign nationals who claim to have local identity documents. They've also called on members of the public to report any suspicious identity usage, particularly if someone appears to be using another person's information or if something just doesn't add up. In response to the incident, a few immigration watchdog groups have said they're not surprised. They've long raised concerns about how porous the system is, and how easy it can be to pay someone or bribe an official and walk away with a clean South African identity. While not everyone abuses the system, they argue that this kind of fraud chips away at the trust ordinary South Africans have in government systems. What makes this even more interesting is that this businessman had allegedly managed to open bank accounts, register businesses, and even get a driver's license using the fraudulent ID. Which again, points to a bigger concern: how did none of these systems pick up the mismatch? Some say it's because of outdated technology, others blame corruption, and many just believe the system is simply overwhelmed. At this point, officials say it's too early to tell if others were involved in helping him secure the false documents. But an internal investigation is now underway to track down anyone who may have played a role, including officials inside the Home Affairs Department or third-party runners who work in the shadows of government buildings. We can't deny that this is a serious issue, and the public has every right to be concerned. It's not just about one man getting away with fake papers, it's about how secure the national identity system really is. If someone can live here, register a business, and profit off the state using someone else's identity, what does that say about our border control and verification systems? That said, let's not forget the human angle here too. We have to ask why people feel they have to go to these lengths. Is it desperation? Is it greed? Or is it simply the ease of bypassing a system that's already failing? Either way, the consequences are now real, and hopefully this case serves as a warning to others trying the same thing. Of course, as South Africans, we know how to laugh even when things are wild. Someone on social media joked that the man must have been so convincing, even the system fell for him. Another said, only in Mzansi can you run a company with a ghost's ID. Not wrong, shame. But at least this time, justice caught up. Before we go, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. These updates come often, and we always keep it real. Thanks for watching till the end. All images used in this article are for illustration purposes only. Sources include Daily Maverick, SABC News, SAFM Current Affairs, and a few verified community pages on Facebook and X.